But savings is more of discipline. Savings is more of faithfulness more than the amount. It's more about how you're willing to go the distance with it. Hey guys, so over the past few weeks and months, we've talked a lot about investing. We've spent a lot of time talking about asset classes that can help your money grow and how you can maximize your return over the long term. But for this video, I want to talk about something very, very important, something that you need to recognize that's so foundational. I want to talk about how you can actually save money and how important it is right now, especially right now that we are still in the midst of a pandemic. So what is saving? Saving is you intentionally putting a certain amount of money for a particular goal, for a particular need. Savings is not whatever is left of your salary. Savings is not whatever is left of your income. Because think about it, and let's be honest with ourselves. Whatever is left from our income will be our savings. Then you will go through life not saving anything. And the reality of how you can excel right here, right now, is to be intentional of how you actually save. Please do remember, and I want to submit this to all of you, that before you even spend money, you need to save first. Meaning, every time money comes along your way, you have to be intentional that you have to allot a specific amount of money for your savings. Income minus savings equals expenses. Meaning your expenses is whatever is left from what you are saving. And that's how it becomes very, very powerful. That you allot a specific amount of money that will form part of your savings that you do not plan to touch until that goal is actually met. And people would ask, what's a good percentage of your salary that you should actually save? The answer to that is there's no percentage, there's no right amount of money. But savings is more of discipline. Savings is more of faithfulness more than the amount. It's more about how you're willing to go the distance with it. If you say that saving also is not about how big the amount is, but it's more about how faithful you are in implementing and doing that on a regular basis. Saving is about the discipline of going the distance no matter how hard it is, no matter if everyone else around you wants to spend, you stick to your plan. So that could be 10% of your salary, that could be 20% of your salary, that could be even 30% or even more, or it could also be a specific amount that you could set aside. And it does not matter if it's 10 pesos, 500 pesos, 10,000 pesos, 100,000 pesos, 1 million pesos. What's important is whatever you set aside, no matter if you're tempted to buy something online, whatever you set your heart for to save, you set it aside. And just to share, when I started out, my salary was just around 15,000 pesos. And if I remember it, I had an allowance of around 1,500. So I was basically getting a gross amount of 16,500 on a monthly basis. So that was around 2006. Net of that was around 12,000 pesos. Now, I had to make everything fit. My clothes, of course, since I was a fresh grad, I needed to buy clothes for my corporate work, for my food, for my transportation, vitamins also. And I was also blessing my parents at that time. And if you realize it, 12,000 pesos a month, that isn't a lot. That's 6,000 pesos every 2 weeks. That's 3,000 pesos every week that I had to make do with that. Looking back, no, even though my salary at that time really wasn't super big, I saw it. It was about being faithful with what I had and being resourceful on how I could actually maximize and how I could actually stretch the 12,000 pesos. And I made a conscious decision back then, that was in my early 20s, that no matter what happens, from this 12,000 pesos, I will set aside 1,500 pesos on a monthly basis. No matter what happens, I will prioritize that first. And that was a seed that pushed me, that allowed me to be consistent. That every time more money came my way, I already knew how I was supposed to save it. I already knew what I was supposed to do about it. Being trained and being disciplined to save, when more money comes your way, it won't destroy you. When more money comes your way, you already have a plan, you already have a strategy on what you're supposed to do. That's why, think about it. When you look at a lot of lottery winners that win millions of pesos or even dollars, a lot of them, because they got the money but they didn't get the discipline, having more money actually destroyed them. And that's what I want to submit to all of you watching this, that everyone wants to have millions. However, having millions but not having the right discipline to handle it will destroy you. And the best way for you to be able to grow your money right is by saving, allocating an exact amount of money on a regular basis, and not touching it. Every time I set aside that 1,500 pesos was that I deposited it, and as I deposited it, I never touched it anymore. I made sure that once it went in, it never went out. And every time I had extra, I was dedicated that, okay, every time I have extra, 70% of that I will save. Because the reality is, I tried to make sure that my budget was enough for me to be able to live a normal life, and everything else, it was time for me also to fund my dreams. Please remember, you're not just setting aside money for the now, but you are also setting your future self up for greater success. Saving money is hard because it actually means that you are foregoing immediate gratification to gratify yourself later on in the future. But that being said, I also want to say this. Before you even invest your money, you need to actually save. Never ever go into a business and never ever invest if you do not have any savings. Your savings will give you a buffer that if your business is not doing well, you have enough to get by. Your savings will also allow you to be aggressive in your investments, because it's hard to be aggressive in your investments if you go all in. Let me tell you a story. My dad, he was an engineer, he was a manager for a multinational company. Then in his early 50s, he was given a chance to retire early. When he retired early, he was given a large amount of money, a very, very large amount of money. And he used that amount of money to start businesses. Please do note, nothing wrong with starting businesses, nothing wrong with carving your own destiny. But what he did was, he went all in. A large chunk of the money that he got, he placed it on a business. And the thing about that is this, he didn't have any savings. And every person who would start a business would always think that that business would do well. I've never met a person that would invest money thinking that that investment won't do very, very well. Every person that starts a business would always think that, okay, I'm investing my money, this investment will do very, very well for me. But you have to remember this, the reality of life is that sometimes it does not earn quickly. The reality of life is when you invest, it does not give you the return that you want immediately. So while you're waiting for that investment to do well, while you're waiting for that business to do well, you need to have savings in order for you to be protected. You need to have savings so you can be aggressive in the business that you're doing, so that when you invest also, you won't be scared. We had a gas station back then. He was distributing sanitary napkins. All of those businesses and whatever other small businesses he was doing did not do well. It folded up, it closed. And that being said, he lost everything. And the reason why I share that story is that propelled me. People know me as a stock market guy, but what they don't know, what they don't realize is before I even invested in the stock market, I spent a lot of time saving. I spent a lot of time having a buffer, having this amount of cash to be able to protect me. And even in the midst of the pandemic last year, when the lockdowns were at its highest, having that buffer, having that savings gave me peace of mind, gave me the stability that in spite of the uncertainty, in spite of the unknown, I knew that having this savings would not just allow me to survive, but would allow me to thrive. That's why I could not stop stressing this over and over. Before you invest, you need to save. When you save, never touch that money. The only time you touch your savings is when that goal for that savings has been met. Meaning, if it's for emergency and there's a real legit emergency, by all means, take out the money. If you're saving up for that down payment of the house that you wanted to buy or the car that you wanted to buy, by all means, take it out. But other than that, unless the reason for why you're saving is already there or is at hand, you don't need to take out the money. Never ever touch it. Now, you might be asking, okay, savings is good, but what's the easiest way for me to save right now? Here's the thing. One of the best and nicest ways for you to be able to save right now, and one of the most efficient ways for you to do it, is via ING. For those who don't know what ING is, they're one of the largest multinational banks in the world. And what's interesting about them is they have been doing branchless banking since the 1990s. And that's why they are so good in terms of digital banking, because they are one of the pioneers in this space. And for those who don't know, they have brought their expertise here in the Philippines, as they are the pioneer in all digital banking here in the Philippines. Not just an e-wallet, but a bank that's all digital. For those of you who have been having a hard time lining up to the bank just to deposit, for those of you who don't want to line up or the hassles of depositing it and going to physical branches, or you're like me who doesn't want to go out a lot right now. So if you're like me who doesn't want to get exposed to a lot of people and doesn't want to go out, ING is amazing because it allows you to do all of your banking transactions from the comforts of your home. ING was launched in the Philippines November 2018, and one of their first products was ING Save. So I've been using that for over 2 years now, and it's very, very amazing because it allowed me to deposit my checks without even going to the bank, by just taking pictures of it. And as I take a picture of it using the ING app, it gets deposited, meaning I don't have to line up. I don't have to go to a bank branch in order for me to be able to deposit my check. Digital banking will save you time. It will allow you to live life at your own terms. It will allow you to focus more on your business. If you're a stock trader, you're an investor, or you are entrepreneur, instead of wasting your time lining up, instead of wasting your time doing all of those bank transactions, everything can be done right here, right now in this app. Digital banking is the future. We are seeing the future right in front of us right now. So what I like about them is it's so easy to deposit money. It's so easy to transfer money. But not just that, when you open an account, there's no minimum opening balance. And once it's open already, they don't also have a maintaining balance as well. They also don't have a minimum amount to earn interest. I repeat, whatever you put in ING Save will earn an interest. The interest that you will be getting from them, that's guaranteed, is massively higher than what you can get from traditional savings accounts. Please do note that you can earn 2.5% per annum on your savings, which is so big compared to your traditional savings accounts. Instead of letting your money sleep in traditional savings accounts, why not transfer it into ING Save? Because it allows you to earn a higher rate of return on your money. Literally, you doing nothing, but your money working hard for you. If you have some traditional savings accounts with 0.1, 0.2, and you are getting 2.5, that's already more than 10 times already without you doing anything, and all you have to do is just to transfer it. Now, remember what I said earlier about budgeting. ING does not stop with ING Save. ING also has ING Pay. Remember what I said when you can be intentional with your saving? Whatever you put in ING Save should be an amount of money that you don't plan to touch anymore, should form part of your savings. Now, whatever you put in ING Pay is something that you can use, that you can touch for your expenses, something that you can use to pay your bills for. And that's how you segregate it, and that's how you can be intentional. ING Pay for your expenses, ING Save for money that you don't plan to touch, for money that you will intentionally use for savings. And that's one way for you on how you can actually distribute and be intentional on your financial freedom. Set an account, ING Save for saving, ING Pay for the expenses that will come your way. Now you might ask this, ING is an all-digital bank. I don't see the bank. I don't see the tellers. Is my money safe? The answer to that is yes. ING is 100% a legitimate bank that's supervised by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, but not just that. Similar to other traditional banks, the money that you deposited there is also PDIC insured. So that gives you a bit of stability knowing that it's regulated and it's also PDIC insured. But not just that, to give you further clarity on how safe ING is, ING has a universal banking license. They require a higher amount of capital versus rural banks. And knowing that can give you the stability also to sleep well at night, knowing that where you're investing your money on is something that's safe and is something that's secure. And they have a very, very good track record. They have been in the Philippines since 1990. And they're the first foreign bank in the Philippines to become a universal bank. To wrap everything up, you need to save money. How can you save money? Income minus savings equals expenses. You need to be intentional with your saving. You need to allot it as part of your budget. Every time you make money, that you should put a certain amount of it for your savings. Prioritize your future first while you are in the prime of your years. Do not waste the prime of your years not saving money for your future. And never ever invest without any savings. And the best way, most efficient way for you to be able to save your money online, digital, is by using ING Save. And if you want to be intentional separating your money, you can use both ING Save and ING Pay. So there, I hope you guys got a lot from this, and I hope that this is something that was very, very insightful for all of you, because at the end of the day, the heart and the goal of this channel is to educate you that above and beyond investing, you need to save. That one of the foundational steps for you to be able to reach your goals of financial freedom is to save right here, right now, and to be intentional with it. So that's it for now. Marvin Gurmo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.